Hello everyone. So we are going to discuss today strategic management, and this is our chapter unit number 12. Okay. So under unit number 12 we have four main topics. The first topic it was about correlation and regression analysis. Topic number 2 it is relevant to the learning curve analysis. Topic number 3 it was relevant to expected value. Understood. And today we are going to talk about strategic management. This is the fourth topic of unit number 12. Understood. Please remember unit number 12, which is known as forecasting, plus 13 and 14, which is budgeting. So these three chapters are your 20% of your exam. So unit 12 we are discussing, and last topic we are going to discuss 12.4. And this topic is known as strategic management. So first we'll start with the definition. What is the strategic management? Please remember there are two words. The first word is called strategic management and second word is called strategic planning. Okay, so these two words are obviously closely linked with each other. So what is the difference between strategic management and strategic planning? There is a strategic planning in other word. So guys, which is explained here also. Strategic management, under strategic management, what we will do, please remember, we will set overall objectives for an entity. So this is the keyword here. Here we are setting the overall objective for an entity, right? And strategic management will guide the process, how we can reach those objectives. And it is the responsibility of upper management always. So please, I'm repeating one more time. Under strategic management, we will set the overall objective of the entity, and it is the responsibility of upper management. But strategic planning, what is strategic planning? Strategic planning is the design and implementation of specific steps and processes necessary to reach the overall objectives. Like how we will accomplish the overall objective. Okay, what are the specific steps we can take? So that will be the part of strategic planning. Understood? It means there are two keywords. Under strategic management, we will set overall objective for the entity, which is the responsibility of upper management. But under strategic planning, we will design and implement the specific steps which will help us to reach those overall objectives. So that is why strategic management and strategic planning are closely linked with each other. I hope so. The definition is clear. Okay. So now, guys, here we are going to discuss, because whatever we will talk about, it's more about strategic management now, right? So now we are going to discuss the steps in strategic management process. As I told you, under strategic management, we set the overall objective of the organization, and there I'll explain with the help of example. Now, which are the steps under strategic management process? So usually there are 5 steps are there. Okay, under strategic management process. Number 1, it has 5-stage processes. Okay, number 1 is what? The board of directors draft the mission statement. Please guys, here remember, here there are 2 keywords are there. One keyword is called vision and second keyword is called mission. Okay, and these statements are set by board of directors, means by top management. So please remember, what is the difference between vision and mission? Vision always has future focus, like where you want to be in the future. Okay, but mission always has current focus. Current mean to say what you are currently trying to achieve. Okay, current doesn't mean only 1 year. No, current means maybe over the period of 10 years time horizon. So what you want to achieve currently, that is called your mission. Okay, now let me give you example here first. For example, your vision is to be a CFO in the future. This is your vision. Okay, you want to be a CFO in the future. So to become a CFO, you know what things are required. Obviously, you need a good qualification, plus you need a good experience, right? So now to get the qualification, for example, currently which is your mission. You are pursuing, for example, CMA, CPA, or for example, CM. Just giving you examples. Okay, so you are currently pursuing this. Obviously, guys, this CA, CPA, and CMA cannot be completed maybe quickly. Maybe it will take more time, right? But this is your current mission. So mission, but from company point of view, mission statement is always drafted by board of directors. Understood? Because once you will achieve the mission, for example, your first mission is to get qualification, second mission is to get experience. So the day once you will complete the mission or series of mission, maybe you will reach to the vision. Okay, you will become a CFO, right? So this is the first stage. Stage number one is what? The board of directors draft the organization mission statement, and we will study in more detail about the mission statement. But here I'm just guiding you overall 5 stages. Number two, second step, the organization performs situational analysis, which is also called SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis unit is the abbreviation. SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So obviously, strength and weakness, you will always look in internal environment or within the company. Opportunities and threats, you will always look into the external environment. For example, you are pursuing now CMA, okay, for example. So now maybe for this, you will do your SWOT analysis, strength, okay, weakness, opportunities, and threat. So what is your strength? Maybe for example, you don't have a family with you here, you are living alone. So your job is very relaxed. So you can give proper time to your study. Understood? This is your strength, for example. You are financially strong person, so you don't need to worry about the fees also. So it is also your strength, right? Plus you have a good brain. It is also your strength. So what is the weakness? For example, maybe you are living with your family. You have a tough job to do, or maybe you have a financial constraints. These are your weakness. So strength and weakness, you will always look internally. Then you have to look opportunities and threats. Like what opportunities this qualification will offer you. Okay, maybe you can work in accounts department, finance department, tax department. Let's assume what threats are there. For example, maybe there are a lot of alternative qualifications are available in the market which can give you tough time. So this is called what? Situational analysis. This is the stage number two, right? So once the situational analysis is done, so based on the result of situational analysis, upper management develops strategies describing how these mission will be achieved. In third stage, you will develop the strategies. Strategies means that you will make a plan. For example, plan for your study, how many hours you will study in a day, how many hours you will study in a week. For example, how many questions you will practice, how you will attend the classes. It will be physical or online. So you will decide all these things, right? So you will make a strategies. You will make a plan. Once plans are ready, so then strategic plans are implemented. Obviously, you will get admission in CMA, you will start studying and you will follow your plan, right or wrong. So strategic plans are implemented through the execution of the component plans at each level of the entity. Because I'm giving you example at your personal level. So obviously, you will then implement your plan, whatever you have developed for your CMA qualification. Once plan is implemented, so the next stage, fifth stage comes, which is called strategic control and feedback. What it means, guys? Obviously, you have developed a plan that every day you will study 4 hours. But once plan is implemented, you will get the actual results. But actually, maybe you are studying 0 hours, right or wrong? So, or maybe you are studying more than your plan, right or wrong? So, what you will do then? Obviously, guys, once actual results are compared with the planned results, then there might be deviations. Those deviations could be a positive, and those deviations could be a negative. So what you will do, this is called strategic control. Control means what? When you compare actual results with the planned result. So strategic control and feedback are used to monitor progress, isolate problem, like you will monitor your progress. You will identify what problems you are facing in implementation, and you will take the corrective action. For example, if you're studying 0 hours, so obviously you have to take the corrective action. You have to give proper time to your study. So over the long term, feedback is the basis for adjusting the original vision and objective. I hope so it is clear, guys, right? So these are 5 stages process to discuss. Now we are going to discuss these things in little bit more detail. So there are 5 stages are there. I hope so you understood these 5 stages. Stage number 1 is what? You have to set the mission statement. Stage number 2, you have to do situational analysis. Stage number 3, you have to develop the plan. Stage number 4, you have to implement the plan. And stage number 5, you have to, compare the planned result with the actual results, and you have to take the corrective action. So these are 5 stages. So starting with here first. So the mission statement, please do you know, guys? So these are 5 stages are written: number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Okay. So now here, guys, first stage, just little bit information we are going to discuss, which is called mission and vision. I have already explained to you a mission statement describe what a company wants to achieve now. Which is what is your current focus. Whereas the vision statement outlines what a company wants to achieve in the future. But in general, these are long term, right? So mission statement, actually you can define this way also. Mission statement, because if you will Google any company, so on their website they have a mission statement. So mission statement summarizes the entity's reasons for existing, like why they exist, right? Right or wrong? So for example, there is a one example as a written here. Most of the time mission statement could be a one sentence, 1 or 2 lines only, right or wrong? So then it will be most effective. For example, the mission statement of Starbucks coffee company is, Starbucks, the coffee company. So what is their mission statement? It's written, the mission statement of them is to inspire and nurture the human spirits, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. So this is a mission statement, right or wrong? Maybe there, sometimes you have read certain mission statements like feel like a home. Okay, it's your second home, like that. Okay. So this is what is the mission statement. And who is formulating the mission statement? Obviously, guys, the it is formulated by board of directors. So this point just you should go through thoroughly. A mission statement concentrates on the present. As I told you, it has current focus. It defines the customer's critical processes, and it explains the desired level of performance, like which kind of customers you are going to target, what are your main activities or processes are there, right or wrong, and which level of performance is desirable to achieve this mission. Obviously, if you are going for CMA exam, so you know which level of performance is required. So the vision statement focuses on the future, and it is a source of inspiration and motivation, because it is a overall target for you, like where you want to be in the future, right or wrong. This is what is the vision. Then I told you about the SWOT analysis. I'm just now highlighting the keyword. SWOT analysis is also called situational analysis, right? It is more most often used, right or wrong. So in the SWOT analysis, there are 4 keywords are there. It's abbreviation of SW stand for strength and weaknesses. OT stand for opportunities and threats. Please remember, strength and weaknesses are usually identified by considering the entity's capabilities and resources. Like simply, you will look strength and weaknesses internally. So in your internal environment, you will find what strengths you have, what weaknesses you have. For example, as a company, you have a strong management, it is your strength. You have a excessive cash, it is your strength. You have a good technology, it is your strength. You have an efficient distribution system, it is your strength. So there could be a weaknesses also. Maybe you have a bad management, maybe you have a old technology, maybe your distribution channels are not efficient. So these things could be the weaknesses as well, right? So in strengths and weaknesses, you will always look internally. You will always look internally. Then, guys, we have opportunities and threats. As I told you, opportunities and threats exist in the entity's external environment. So you will look externally what opportunities you have, what threats you have, right or wrong. For example, maybe if you will invest your money, let's assume in any specific business, you have a strong competitors there. So it is threat. If you have a weak competitors there, it is opportunity, because you can enter there, you can make money, right? So opportunities and threat exist in the entity's external environment. So they are identified by considering. Obviously, you will look macro environment factors also, like broader factors. For example, economically, you will look, demographically, you will look what opportunities and threats you have, politically, you will look, legally, you will look, socially, culturally, and technically. But in micro environment, like at small scale level, so you will look maybe what opportunities and threat you have in your suppliers, customers, distributors, competitors, and other competitive factors in the industry, right? So, but the key point is, mostly they will ask you maybe in MCQs, or they can ask you to write SWOT analysis and to link with some kind of essay question, right or wrong. So maybe from the essay question, you have to drive what opportunities you have, what threats you have, what strengths you have, what weaknesses you have, right? So now here the third stage, because the first stage was mission statement, I have explained it. Second stage is about SWOT analysis. I have explained it. Now I'm explaining strategy. Okay, strategy simply, guys, it is simply a plan. So you can devise, you can develop a group of strategies also. Okay, because strategies means a plan. Plan will help you how you will achieve your mission, right or wrong. So for example, in when you are making plans, so you need to answer these kind of questions. For example, which lines of business will be in, like which kind of business you want to start. Okay, how do we penetrate, like for example, if you are entering into any market, how you will penetrate there and compete in the international marketplaces. Okay, how will this line of business reach its objective. For example, if your objective is to earn profit, so you have to think how this product line will help you to make money, right? And how this product line will contribute to achieve the overall entity's mission. Okay, so then you also need to answer how do we perform each strategic business unit. Strategic business unit mean to say some various different investments. So you have to think in each investment point of view, like how they are performing, right? So when you are making plan, actually you have to answer certain questions, right? So then the next stage is what implementation. Implementation is quite easy. Okay, obviously once plan is ready, then you have to implement. And when you implement, obviously maybe you may involve the employees from all level of the entity, right? There you will assign their roles and responsibilities. You can introduce incentive system also if they will perform their duties well. If they will achieve their targets, you may give them incentives. It could be the part of implementation. You will maybe evaluate the performance of the employees, who is doing good or who is doing bad, right or wrong. So obviously, guys, when you implement the strategy, here you need, okay, the participation from senior managers also, because who senior managers, they devise the strategy, they make the plan. You also need a middle managers, interaction with the middle managers, who supervise and evaluate the employees, right? And obviously the we also need the involvement of HR department, HR manager, who must approve, evaluate, and compensate the plans. Obviously, compensation, like for example, how much salary they have to pay as per your performance. This implementation means that simply you are going to implement. As I gave you example, you have developed the plan for CMA. Now you are going to implement. You planned that you will study 3 hours. In implementation, you have to see how many hours you are studying, and you have to study 3 hours, for example, as per plan. And the next stage is what? Feedback and control. Obviously, guys, here what you will do, you will compare your actual results with the planned results, right or wrong. If your actual results are better than planned, it's good. You can continue. You should continue with it. If actual results are worse than planned, you should take the corrective action, right or wrong. So obviously, if the performance is unsatisfactory, if feedback is not positive, so you have to take the corrective action. And obviously, once you compare actual results with the planned, whatever results you will get, so these results are sent to higher level management for continual refinement of the strategies. Maybe they need to revise the assignment strategies, or maybe they need to make certain changes. Understood? So this is the fifth thing. So this was the strategic management process. So 5 stages: mission, situational analysis, SWOT analysis, design of strategy, implementation of strategy, feedback and control, right? So these are 5 points.
Recording in progress.
Now, guys, we are going to discuss, there is another small topic, theoretical topic, that is called Porter's 5 competitive forces. Okay. Actually, guys, 5 competitive forces means that there are 5 factors as per Porter's theory, right? So it is the name of the theorist. The name of theorist is the Michael E. Porter. Okay, so he introduced a 5 competitive forces, which are called five factors. And if you will analyze these five factors, so these factors will help you to determine long-term profitability as measured by long-term return on investment. In simple words, I can just simply say, for example, if you want to invest anywhere, or if you want to enter into the new market, or maybe you want to launch the new product, right or wrong, whatever decision you want to take. So you want to see, is this decision is profitable for you in the long term or not, right or wrong? So to decide this, is it profitable for you or not? So you have to consider five factors, okay, which are called five forces. So these five forces are here, okay, and I'll explain these five forces. Number one, it could be a threat of new entrant. It could be a bargaining power of supplier. It could be a threats of substitutes. It could be a bargaining power of customer. And then we have an intensity of rivalry among established firms, right? Guys, let me start with the help of examples. So for example, you are a shoe manufacturing business, right? And maybe currently you are operating in UAE, let's assume, and now you want to enter into the new market. For example, you want to enter into the UK market, right? And you want to see the UK market would give you the profit in the long term or not, or maybe you will suffer over there if you will enter there, right? So for that, you will analyze the five factors. Okay, five factors. So although this is one, second, third, and fourth, all these factors will affect the competition, rivalry. So here we go. I'm going to start with it first, the threats of the new entry, and then we will uh, keep going. Okay, because these factors will affect your rivalry means with competition. So here we go, guys. So far, few things I'm skipping and I'm starting from here. Threats of new entry is what? For example, if you will enter in the UK market, and you always have a threat. Threat is what? Maybe many entrants, they can enter into this market, many other companies. So this is threat to you. Why it is? If this threat is high, obviously in future, if many entrants will enter to UK market, so in future competition will increase. And once competition will increase, maybe you cannot earn long-term profit, because in competition, mostly you have to cut the prices where your profit would be sacrificed, right or wrong. So that is why the threat of new entry, how we can assess the threat of new entry, like, is it easy for the new entrant to enter in this market, or it is hard? So this threat, okay, are the prospects of long-term profitability depends on the industry barriers to entry. Like if there are barriers, for example, there are barriers and these companies cannot break those barriers, it means there is a less threat of new entrant, right or wrong. If there are no barriers to entry, everyone can enter, it means there is no barrier to entry, and there obviously you will have a high competition in the future. So guys, which factors will decide the barriers to entry? Like barriers to entry is low or high. Obviously for you, barriers to entry should be high, it is better. But you can break that barrier. Not everyone can break. Okay, that is better for you. If barriers to entry is low, if it is easy for everyone to enter this market, then that market is not good for you in the long term. But if it is hard for others to enter in this market, it means there are barriers to entry, then that market is good for you. But those barriers you can break. Number one, guys, for example, factors that increase the threat of new entrant I'm discussing now. Like these are the factors, okay, which will increase the threat of new entry are the following. For example, economies of scale and learning curve effect are not significant. For example, no one company is that much big, in that market whose cost per unit is less. That is called economies of scale. Economies of scale is what? Obviously, when you do the production at mass level, at high level, your production is too much. At that time, per unit cost is decreasing, right or wrong? When per unit cost is less. For example, I am the new entrant. Obviously, I know initially my cost will be high. I cannot compete I cannot compete with this company whose per unit cost is low, right or wrong. So that is why when economies of scale is not there, or when learning curve effect is not significant, it means the cost of the product is already high. Obviously, then once the new entrant will enter, his cost will also be high. So, but he can compete with you, right or wrong? So it means when economies of scale and learning curve effects are not significant, okay, so threats of new entry will increase. Understood? Number two, brand identity of existing product is weak. For example, there is no strong brand is operating in the market. So it means once the new entrant will enter, so he has a chance to make it brand, right or wrong, to its own product. So that is why when brand identity is not there, for example, iPhone, Apple, Samsung, so there are so many, mobile manufacturing companies are there, electronics companies are there. So if I want to make the new mobile, okay, and I want to compete with iPhone, it is hard for me. Why? Because brand identity is not weak there. Brand identity is the strong. People, they know which product is the best product. So, but when the brand identity of existing product is weak, so the threats of new entry will increase. Then cost of switching suppliers are low. For example, guys, so cost of switching supplier is what? For example, I'm a customer. So if there are many suppliers are available, so I can, and I don't have any official contract with anyone. For example, I can buy product from you or from other competitors, right? From where I would feel the price is low and quality is good. I will buy the product. So it means for me as a customer, switching cost is low. I can switch from one supplier to other supplier. So if this is the scenario, if the switching cost, uh, if the cost of switching supplier are very low from customer point of view, then it will increase the threat of new entry because new entrant can think, yes, I can get the customer because customer have no switching cost. Then next point, existing firms do not have the cost advantage of vertical integration. Okay, vertical integration, guys, for example, when customer merge with the supplier, for example, Toyota, if they will merge with the Alpha Theme is customer, Toyota is supplier, right or wrong? So obviously, when there is no cost advantage means say costs are not less, maybe product cost or maybe distribution cost is not less, cost is high. Obviously when new entrant will enter, he will also face high cost. So high cost, and obviously you can compete with existing suppliers, obviously, or existing companies, you can compete with them because they don't have economies of scale. So whenever there is no cost advantage is available in the market, okay, so at that time the threats of new entry will increase. Then what? Product differences are low. For example, products are not unique. Okay. So then in the, for example, I can also make the mobile phone, let's assume like a Samsung or iPhone company. So product differentiation is less. So then obviously threats of new entry will increase. But if product is highly differentiated, for example, iPhone or Samsung is providing, more secure, for example, devices, let's assume, but I cannot reach to that level. So it means differentiation is high. So for me, it is hard for me to enter there. Then next is what? Access to existing supplier is not blocked and distribution channels are willing to accept new products. Obviously, for example, Toyota company is in UAE, they are using Alphatheme, for example, as a distributor. For example, Alphatheme is also willing to work for Honda also. Then even new Alphatheme is also willing to work for the new entrant also. In that scenario, the threat of new entry will increase because the new entrant have access to the distribution channels. Then when capital requirements are low, okay, when capital means maybe with small capital you can start a business over there. So again, it will increase the threats of new entry. But if huge capital is required, right, then obviously not everyone is not having huge capital, right or wrong? So then many of the companies will not enter to that market where huge capital investment is required. If exit barriers are low, for example, it is very easy to wind up your business and leave that market. If exit barriers are low, again, new people will enter to this market, right or wrong? Because they know any time they can enter and they can leave. Then the government's policy is to encourage new entrant, where the government is promoting the new entrant. Understood? At that time, obviously, the threats of new entry will increase. And obviously, if of new entry, threat of new entry is high, what will happen, guys? that market is not good for you. If threat of new entry is low, then that market is good for you. You can make long-term profitability. Because if threat of new entry is high, many entrants will enter, it will increase your competition. And on the other hand, you have to cut the prices of your product to survive in the market. Understood? So this is what is a threat of new entry. I hope that is clear. Now, guys, for you stand for, if you are a company, you are going to enter into new market, for example, and you want to earn the profit in the long term, what is better for you? This is the note. The most favorable industry condition is one in which entry barriers are high, but you can break those barriers, and exit barriers are low. So that is most favorable for you. Understood? So now, guys, there is a second factors of the Porter 5 forces that is called threats of substitutes. For example, as I quoted the example, you are shoe manufacturing business, you want to enter into UK market. Okay, if there are so many other substitutes are available, right? Again, that market is not good for you. If there are less substitutes are available, okay, which are close to your product, then that market is good. For example, another example, let's assume you are going to sell soft drink. So there are so many substitutes are available for the soft drink. It could be a juices, it could be a lemon, okay, it could be a water. So there are so many alternatives are available. If so many substitutes are available, understood, then that market is not good for you. The reason, for example, you are selling soft drink. What if the juice manufacturing business will reduce the prices? What will happen? Obviously, people will buy juice. It is more healthy also. Right or wrong? More energetic also. People will buy juice. And once the people will buy juice, obviously it will affect the demand of soft drink. Or for example, if you will increase the price of your product, so what will happen? Again, people will switch to the alternative. So that is why substitutes, whenever many close substitutes are available, okay, so then it means you cannot earn their high profit, and then you are forced to reduce the prices of your product. But if you will increase the prices, people will move to the substitute side. Understood? So this is what is called threats of substitutes. You have to check this point. So obviously structural consideration affecting the threat of substitutes are what? Relative prices. Obviously, as I give you example, if the juice prices is less, people will buy juice, then no one will buy the soft drink, or maybe there will be less demand for the soft drink. So that is a price is the major consideration. Then you also need to check cost of switching to a substitutes. If it is easy for the customers to switch to the substitute side, so obviously it is not good for you. Then you also need to check customer inclination to use substitutes. If customer is more inclined towards the substitutes, or he likes the substitutes, obviously no one will buy your product, right? So threat of substitute, if threat of substitute is high in that market is less attractive for you. If there are less substitutes available, it means threat of substitute is low, that market is more attractive to you, and you can earn a profit over there. Understood? I hope that is clear. Then, guys, here we have a third point. That is called what? Threats of buyers' bargaining power. Buyers, customers. Okay, obviously, guys, any market in which customers are in strong position than buyers. Customers are in strong position. Okay, it means from if customers are in strong position than seller, guys, because you are going to be a seller here. If customers are in strong position, right? So it means being a seller, that market is not good for you. For example, in UAE, so there are two main cellular companies are there. So we have a Do company and we have a Etisalat company, right? For the sake of simplicity, just assume we have two companies. Right or wrong, here seller is having high bargaining power. Customer is not having too much choices. Customer either they have to buy the cellular services from the Do company or from the Etisalat company. Right or wrong, where buyers are in strong position. For example, in our country, we have a 6 to 7 cellular companies. So their buyers in the strong position because high competition is there. So the companies, cellular companies are forced to cut the prices to retain the customers. So their profit is reducing. So this is what is called bargaining power of buyers. So if buyers' bargaining power is high, means to say buyers are in the strong position, that industry is less attractive for you. If buyers bargaining power is low, then that industry is more attractive to you. Now guys, the point is how buyers bargaining powers varies with the following factors. Okay, obviously these factors uh, will increase or decrease the bargaining power of buyers. For number one, when purchasing power is concentrated in a few buyers, or when buyers are well organized, their bargaining power is greater. Obviously, when buyers are more, you can say, are buyers are big companies, obviously they will be in a strong position. They can do bargaining, etc. Okay. Number two, high or low switching cost. If switching cost is high, like it is not easy for the customer to switch from one supply to other supply. So if switching cost is high, obviously guys, so high or low switching cost decrease or increase the buyer's bargaining power. For example, if switching cost is high, it will decrease the bargaining power of buyers. If switching cost is low, it will increase the bargaining power of supplier, because of buyer can move very easily from one supplier to other. So if it is easy for buyers to move from one supplier to other supplier, then switching cost is low. If it is not easy for buyer to move from one supplier to other supplier, then switching cost is high. Okay, guys. Then, guys, the threats of backward, upstream, vertical integration. That is the acquisition of supply capacity, increase buyers' bargaining power. Obviously, guys, for example, if Alphathame, I'm just giving you example. If Alphathame will buy Toyota company, because Alphathame is the customer, Toyota is the supplier. If customer will buy the supplier, for example, understood? So then maybe it is customer would be in the strong position. Then buyers are most likely to bargain aggressively when their profit margins are low and a supplier's product accounts for a substantial amount of their cost. So what it means? So the point is buyers are most likely to bargain obviously when they are earning less. When they are earning less, so they will bargain more to save their money. Right or wrong? So this will, or when there are many suppliers are available in the market, many suppliers again, and if you have a less buyers, many suppliers, again buyers will be in the strong position. Then buyers are stronger position when supplier product is undifferentiated. Obviously, when all sellers are selling same product, okay, similar product or identical product, then buyers will be in the strong position. Number one, the more important the supplier's product is to buyer, the less bargaining power they have. For example, you are selling maybe ABC product, and ABC product for me as a customer is very important for me. I need it by hook or by crook. Then obviously I will not maybe bargain that much. But if it is not my basic need, maybe I can bargain, right? So these all factors will decide the bargaining power of the buyers. Okay. So what is good for you overall as a seller? Again, if you have a customer and you are a seller, for you, customers' bargaining power should be less. Then it is good for you. If customers' bargaining power is high, it is bad for you, maybe, so you cannot make high profit. Then we have threats of suppliers' bargaining power. So we have a threat of new entry, first point, threat of new entry. Then we have a threat of substitutes. Then we have a buyer's bargaining power. Now we have a supplier's bargaining power. Guys, being a suppliers, obviously, if you are in a strong position, okay, then that is good for you, being a supplier. Okay, if buyer is in the strong position, that is bad for you. And obviously, guys, when suppliers will be in the strong position, so here we go, suppliers bargaining power is greater. Like suppliers in the strong position when switching costs are substantial. For example, it is not easy for the customer to leave you. For example, maybe you have a contract with the customer for 10 years, and if customer will leave you, obviously he has to pay huge amount of penalty. In that scenario, switching cost for the customer is high, and that is good for you. When the price of substitutes are high, obviously when substitute, whatever available in the market, their prices are higher than your product, So you are in the strong position because people will use your product as a substitute. Then they can threaten. Okay, then what we have here, these are the key simple points are there. For example, when their industry is concentrated or they are organized. For example, if you are due and etheslab, if you are organized or concentrated, two suppliers are available only to the buyers, obviously you will be in the strong position. And they provide sometimes that the significant input to the value added by the buyer. So guys, in simple words, you are in a strong position where the buyer is in the weak position. Right or wrong? And mostly if you have a less competition in the market, so you are in a strong position. When you have a many buyers available in the market, you are in a strong position. When for buyers, switching cost is high, you are in a strong position. When the prices of substitute is high in the market, you are in a strong position. Understood? So these are 5 factors are there. Threats of new entrant, bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of customers, threat of substitutes. Let me tell you now here, guys, obviously as new entrant will enter, it will increase the rivalry or competition. When when there are many suppliers are available, again, it will increase the competition. When there are less customers are available, again, it will increase the competition between the suppliers. When many substitutes are available, obviously it will increase the competition. So guys, please remember, threat for you as a seller, what is better? Threat of new entry should be low. Threat of new entry. Like it is not easy for the new entrant to entry. Bargaining power of supplier should be high. Bargaining power of customer should be low. And threats of substitute should be low. Then that market is attractive for you. And there you can earn a money or earn a profit in long term. Okay, guys, I hope so it is clear. Now, guys, we are going to talk about this is also, please remember here, we have a generic competitive analysis or generic competitive strategies model. Okay. What it is actually overall, we have a 2 strategies to take competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, you know, guys, like how to win from your competitors. So there are mainly 2 strategies which we are using, right? These 2 strategies can be used at broader level and these 2 strategies can be used at narrow level. So let me tell you here what does mean by broad competitive scope and what does mean by narrow competitive scope. Please remember, let me give you with the help of, let me explain with the help of example. When we talk about broad competitive scope, so guys, it means here one strategy you will follow throughout the entity regardless in which market you are operating, in which region you are operating, in which country you are operating, you will follow one strategy. Okay, that is called broad. Okay, but when you change your strategy from market to market, region to region, country to country, that is called narrow competitive scope. But overall we have a 2 strategy. One is called cost leadership. What is cost leadership? Like here you are trying to defeat your competitors by having the less cost of your product, because when cost of the product is low, obviously you will sell at low price, the people will buy more product. So some companies they're using cost leadership, like their product cost is less, due to that they are winning from their competitors. So cost leadership is the generic strategy of entities that seeks competitive advantage through lower cost and that have broad competitive scope. What it means, for example, Chinese companies, so what they do, they supply their products throughout the world at low cost. That is, if they are following this strategy, low cost strategy throughout the entity, throughout the world, that is called cost leadership. Understood? So then we have a differentiation strategy like iPhone, Apple. Obviously, if they are launching the mobile phone, for example, you know, uh, let's assume anywhere in the world, in any country, so their product is unique. So they are launching, let's assume they launch only one model throughout the countries, right? So that is called differentiation, but they follow this strategy entity wise. So differentiation is the generic strategy of entities that seek competitive advantage through providing a unique product. Unique product is called differentiation. Understood? That have a broad competitive scope. Broad competitive scope mean to say, regardless of the country, regardless of the market, they are launching one product. Understood? So that is called broad competitive scope. But on the other hand, we have a, On the other hand, we have a narrow competitive scope. Narrow means we have here cost focus. Cost focus. I hope so you can see the cursor. Cost focus is what? Please under narrow, guys, as I told you, from market to market, you change your strategy. For example, I'm just telling you. Let's assume you are, for example, Chinese companies, they're supplying some goods to India, Pakistan, for example, to developing countries. Understood? There may be their strategy will be cost focus. Mean to say they will try to defeat the competitors based on low cost. Okay, but when they maybe sell the products to European countries, American countries, maybe then they will follow focus differentiation. Focus differentiation means to say their products will be unique. Okay, when you follow the strategy from, you are changing the strategy from one market to other market. Okay, so that is called narrow competitive scope. But when you follow the strategy throughout the entity, one strategy, that is called broad competitive scope. I hope that is clear. Guys, here you can see here. Okay, for as I told you, we have a broad means industry wide. We have a two strategies. We have a low cost. Okay, broad. Okay, this is competitive scope, huh? Broad. We have a industry wide. We have a market segment wise. So here it is called cost leadership strategy. When you follow entity at entity level, our differentiation strategy. But when you follow market to market, you change your strategy. It is known as focused strategy cost. Means say meaning is the same, but word is different. Focus strategy cost means say low cost, and focus strategy differentiation mean to say you are trying to take competitive advantage from market to market based on uniqueness of the product. I hope that is clear. Then guys, here we have a one more small topic that is called growth share matrix. Please remember this matrix, okay, is created by Boston Consulting Group, BCG. That is why this is the Boston Consultancy Group. It's a name of a company actually. Okay, they developed this model, right or wrong? So just to manage their portfolios, are their manage just to manage their investments, like which investment is better, which investment is worse, where we have to follow hold strategy, where you have to follow divest strategy, where you have to follow harvest strategy. Okay, so let me explain. You will not understand this way. So here we go. What is the BCG matrix? Okay, so please remember here, guys. This I have the picture is in front of you. So guys, you can see here on this side we have one word which is written, that is called market growth rate. Market growth rate means a potential to grow. Potential to grow in simple words. Okay, high mean to say there is a chance you can, potential to grow means there is a high growth available. You can grow more. So if market growth rate MGR is low, it means you cannot grow more. So these are two things. Then here guys, you can see here to the down, we have a relative market share. Relative market share means a customer base. Customer base, if it is high means you have many number of customers. If relative market share is low, it means you have a less number of customers. So, and you can see here we have a 4 quadrants. So as per BCG matrix, you can, for example, you are investor. You are investor and you have a 4 companies or 4 investment A, B, C, D. Okay, or you might have a more than 4. So you have to scale, like these investments falls under which quadrants? Under this quadrant, this quadrant, this quadrant, or this quadrant. Okay, so you have to scale. Okay, like these investment falls under which categories? And you have to remember those names here. Please remember, guys. I'm going to explain now. Starting from here, dogs. Dogs. Which companies are called dogs, or which investments are dogs? Dogs mean to say where relative market share is low, mean to say you have less customer base, and market growth rate is also low, like you don't have a potential to grow. Both is low. You cannot grow and you have a less number of customers. If you have any investment like that, so those investments are classified as dogs. They will fall under this quadrant. And these circles represents the sales, okay? Sales value or sales volume. Obviously, if those are dogs, so sales will be less. Then guys, we have a second quadrant. For example, now I'm going to explain question mark. Question mark is what? Market growth rate is high, mean to say you have a potential to grow, but your relative market share means the customer base is low. Then you will fall under this quadrant. What it means? You have potential to grow, but your customer is less. You need to think why my customer base is less, but I have a potential to grow. So if you have any investments, okay, which falls here where you have a less customers, but potential to grow is high, but customer base is less. So those investments are called question marks. If any company will fall under this quadrant, those are called question marks. Then we have a stars. Stars I'm explaining. Stars means what? These are those companies where market growth rate is high, like you can grow and you have a high customer base also. So those companies are called stars. They will fall under this quadrant. But where market growth rate is low, but customer base is high, then you will fall under this quadrant. These are called cash cows. We need to understand now what these terminologies are there. Please remember, guys. Dogs, I told you, for example, if these are the quadrants, dogs were falling here. Okay, where your market share is low and your market growth rate is also low. Okay, so low. Here we have a low relative market shares, low market growth rate. Here these are weak competitors in the low growth market. So their net cash flows is modest. Obviously, they are not earning that much because these are dogs. Question marks are what? Question marks where we have a relative market share is low, but you have a high, growth rate. Okay, those are called question marks. So these are also weak competitors because question marks falls here. These are also weak competitors and poor cash generators in high growth market because there is high potential to grow, but your customer base is less. Why? So that is why. So these are weak competitors and they are generating less cash. So they need a large amount of cash, not only to finance growth and compete in the market, but also to increase market share. Understood? Then we have other two quadrants here. Those companies are called stars. In stars, what will happen? So in stars, there is a high market share and high market growth rate. Okay, so they are strong competitors in high growth market, such an SBU. Obviously, here you will earn profit. Okay, but there's a fourth quadrant. This one here, these are called cash cows. Cash cows mean to say low growth rate but high customer base. It means you cannot grow more. What you have, it means maybe you have grown maximum, but you have a high customer base. So these are the best things for you, cash cows. Cash cows means say relative market share is high, but growth rate is low. These are strong competitors and cash generator. These are the cash generators, guys. These are the cash generators for you. A cash cow called ordinarily enjoys a high profit margin and economies of scale. This please remember. So they are the one who are earning more profits. Okay. So here financing for expansion is not needed. Why? Because you already reached to the maximum growth. Understood? So the SBUs mean to say strategic business units are those investments. Excess cash can be used for investment in other SBUs. Okay, please remember, guys, what we have to try. We always need to try. Now strategies I'm going to tell you that I'll explain also, but mostly what we should do, we should convert question marks to stars and stars should be converted to cash cow. This is better for you. Understood? But now I'm going to tell you what to do with the dogs, what to do with the question marks, what to do with the stars, what to do with the cash cows. So here we go. So there are 4 strategies which we can follow. Strategies for each SBU. This is what you have to remember. Number 1 is called a hold strategy. Hold strategy is what? Like you have to stay there simply. Okay, so hold strategy is used for strong cash cows. Why? Because cash cows are the cash generators for you. Okay, where you have a less potential to grow, but you have a high customer base. So you have to hold, you have to stay there. Then we have a build strategy, means you have to build. So build strategy is necessary for question mark because I told you question mark should be converted to stars, stars should be converted to the cash cows. So build strategy means you should build, you should do something Okay, for the question marks with the potential to be a star. Then harvest strategy. Harvest strategies maximize short-term net cash inflows. Harvest means enjoy the cash flows. So harvest strategy means zero budgeting R&D cost, reducing marketing cost, not replacing facilities, etc. Like just enjoy whatever you are earning. This strategy is used for weak cash cows and possibly for question marks and dogs. Okay, but remember this is better for the weak cash cows. Harvest. Then we have a divest. Divest means withdraw your money and invest somewhere. And obviously, this strategy is best for what? This strategy can be used for question mark if you cannot grow it, or you can use it for dogs also, where you are not having potential to grow, where you are not having customer base also. So follow their divestment strategy, like withdraw your money, sell these businesses like these question marks and dogs, sell it and invest in some other favorable businesses. Understood, guys? I hope that is clear.